During the current lockdown in America, there's strict rules implied about social distancing and gathering in public. Basically, you're not allowed to. Now, I've been given this clip. Now, some of you will go, oh, you're going down a Jew-hating road. No, I'm not. I'm going to say nothing about this clip. But what I want you to do is form an opinion of this clip and then tell me why it is that most people will choose to go, oh, and look away, and not do the same when it's, say, for instance, Muslims doing it. You're all too quick to call out Muslims. You're all too quick to call out Muslims. But if I don't call this lot out, that makes me a hypocrite. But why is it you won't? That's the question I'm asking, no more.
Tommy Robinson has been pictured in a Mossad shirt. Now, knowing that Mossad were behind or involved in the grooming and trafficking of dozens, if not hundreds, of girls of European descent by Epstein and Maxwell, don't you think he should at least have the honesty, the integrity to say, I've stood against these Muslim grooming gangs, but I'm going to stand against other groomers of other ethnicities because I care about the victims, but he doesn't. And I'll tell you this, and I said it on TR Talk the other week. If Jeffrey Epstein had been a Muslim, Tommy would be standing outside one of Prince Andrew's residences. He'd have a placard in each hand. He'd be shouting he'd be shouting his head off, and Ezra Levant would be somewhere in the background coordinating the fundraising. But because Jeffrey Epstein is a member of a different group of people, one that TR News protects, he said nothing about that case of grooming and sex trafficking. And if you look at TR News, unless the grooming and sex trafficking fits their agenda, which is, of course, an anti-Islamic agenda, it doesn't get talked about, which just goes to show it doesn't really matter how many victims there are. Well, not to Tommy Robinson. It matters who the people are committing the crime. And if the people committing the crime don't fit the profile that his controllers want them to fit, the victims get ignored.
I just want to add that there was also a case in Cyprus where a British girl was sexually assaulted by a group of people from Israel. And that story wasn't covered at all by Tommy Robinson. However, Avi Yemeni, who is an Australian Israeli, was extremely happy when the news broke that these young men had been let off the hook. But it astounded me because somewhere along the line, that woman had been sexually assaulted or raped. Whether she was, I don't know, whether she's guilty of being raped or she was half guilty of it, whatever happened, whether she was drunk, it doesn't matter. He wasn't bothered about her. His concern was that this group of young Israeli men were off the hook.